Hi everyone. I'm Chavi and Saksham, are you there? Yeah. Cool. Great. So, hi everyone. I'm Chavi and I am the student at AngelHack Ambassador India. And today we are having a really great. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. There was a lag from my side. Yeah. So today we will be talking about Flutter 101, and I'm really sure that it will be going to be a really amazing session because today we will be covering all the basics and all the things that always comes in our mind, that what is Flutter and how can we get started, and all the doubts that we have in our mind. So yeah, we have Saksham, who is working as a Flutter developer at Collaction, and also he have been active since first year of his college in communities, and he's contributing a lot. So yeah, welcome you.
Hello everyone. Thanks, Chavi, for such a wonderful introduction. So, hello everyone. I hope you are fine.
Your voice is quite low.
Just
Can you just check once?
hello. Is it
Great,
okay now?
great.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Just a second. Can you confirm? Like now, it's all right?
Yeah,
Or
it's
yeah.
coming.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Saksham. How are you all? I hope all of you are fine. Uh, Yeah. So welcome everyone to Flutter 101, and this is a very beginner friendly session. And in this, like, trust me, when I started Flutter 1.5 years ago, I didn't know that I'll go with it. I might, just drop in between and change. But trust me, Flutter is really nice to me, and it's very easy, but it's very powerful as well. And we'll be talking about it a lot in today's session. And I hope you all will enjoy it. So yeah, uh, shall I share my screen?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
And also, if you have any sort of doubt, you can just drop it in the chat box so that we can just access there and we can solve it as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. So, hello everyone, and of course, welcome to Flutter 101. So, first of all, who am I? Let me give a short introduction for myself. I am Saksham, and I have been active. I have been doing Flutter for 1.5 years now, and I have contributed to and worked with 3+ organizations in the span of 1.5 years. And trust me, I had no coding backgrounds. I just started like coding like 2 years ago, and I am also currently contributing to Collaction, which is a non-profit organization, and it is Amsterdam-based startup as well, which is working towards green environment. And second is I'm a Flutter developer at Ether, and it is a social networking site. And also, I am the cloud lead at GDSC, IIIT Bhubaneswar. So, before starting the session about Flutter and what Flutter is, I just want to ask a small questions to all of you. You can reply in the chat section, right? So, how many of you are familiar with Google Play? I mean, come on, just if I could see. And how many of you are of know BMW, eBay, Toyota? I hope these all companies will sound familiar to you. Square, ByteDance, eMart. So these all organizations and companies use Flutter in one way or other. Trust me, BMW, I do not trust it in, like, Flutter is very young, it's like 5 years or so, but still BMW, eBay, and Alibaba, all of these use Flutter. At Sign Company, Philips Hue, Stream, Soundtrack, which is a company startup acquired by Spotify. Currently, they are searching for Flutter developers. So, and it is still open. So, Flutter is, of course, powerful. Now, I want to ask Now you might be asking me like, okay, fine. These companies use Flutter. What is Flutter exactly, but so let me come to you about what is Flutter. Flutter is basically Google's portable UI toolkit for building beautiful multi-platform applications, and it is powered by Dart. Okay, Saksham, you threw some gibberish words, and I we don't seem to know what all of this is. Okay, fine. Let's break it up a little bit. What is portable UI toolkit? So, but basically, portable UI toolkit is that you can deploy your apps on multiple platforms, but through a single code base. So you don't have to write two different codes for Android or iOS or for desktop or web, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. Okay, and of course, it's backed by Google. Second, it is multi-platform. Of course, it can be deployed on multiple platforms, and it is powered by Dart. What is Dart exactly? So basically, Dart is a language which is developed by Google developers, and Dart was developed with the help of same developers who developed Chrome back in 2008. And we all know Chrome was a big success because it fastened the internet browsing speed to a very high extent. And Dart was again, it was developed just to increase the speed. Therefore, it is highly optimized and is highly used to build simple applications, and Flutter is based on Dart. Okay, so Saksham, can you tell me some traits of Dart? Okay, so now Dart is basically can scale from small scripts to large and complex applications. It has a wide array of third-party libraries, and it is very easy, literally very easy to learn. And also you can check out all the documentation out there. It is open source on pub.dev. Okay, fine. Now let's come to what does it support. Like we all want to build applications on Flutter, but exactly what Flutter supports. So basically, Flutter supports Android and iOS, of course. Android, as I gave you the example, GPay is fully on Flutter right now. It has not used Kotlin, and they are deployed. I guess last year they deployed it on Flutter. They shifted the whole code base to Flutter. Next, they introduced Windows, Linux, and Mac, all three. You can build applications for all these three OSs through Flutter. And also you can build applications for web and embedded systems. For web, you can also, if you see flutter.dev, it's a website which contains all the repos, all the documentations of Flutter, official Flutter, and it is very easy, and it is developed by Flutter itself. And this website itself is built with Flutter. So basically, it is very powerful. Okay, so now here we are clear that Dart supports a very wide variety of what you say platforms, and it is very growing. As you see, it is very optimized. Of course, it is developed with power because Flutter was introduced later. After Dart was introduced, I guess, in 2012 or 13, and after 4 years of development, they introduced Flutter. And of course, within just 4 to 5 years, its community is growing at a very fast pace, and they are competing with React Native right now. So basically, now you would be asking me that how Flutter exactly works. Like, how does Flutter works? So basically, Flutter works as there are where you can reuse the code. Flutter is designed in such a way that you can reuse that single code on multiple platforms, and it by itself compiles itself into a certain through a certain compiler which is based on that platform. For example, if you are building an app for Android or iOS, then it uses the Intel x86 or ARM instructions for compiling. But on the other hand, if you are developing it on for web, then it itself compiles to JavaScript. So Flutter is designed in such a way that it recognizes the compilation, recognizes the platform and compiles itself. Okay. Also, one more thing about Flutter is that it is very fast, and it compiles on JavaScript on web, and it is that fast that it also gives us a feature of hot reload, and it is a kind of flagship feature. What hot reload does is basically you can see your changes instantly any stateful or stateless changes on your screen while you are running the application. So basically all you have to do is, like, suppose you did a very small UI change and you want to see what effect does it have on the screen. So you don't have to recompile the whole code, but you have to just hot reload it, and it is done generally on a small R command, and those changes will be reflected on your screen instantly within milliseconds. So Flutter is that powerful. And also, if you say, Flutter is being widely adopted and it has a very deeply layered structure. Okay, so we get it that Flutter has a very deeply layered structure. It is very powerful, and it compiles fast, and it hot reloads. Also, Flutter runs its own VM when you build an application. That is also a very powerful feature, and Dart also has it. Okay, so these are all features again. So reuse code across multiple platforms, and it allows, yes, allowing apps to interface directly with the platform services. So basically, it allows app, doesn't matter, you don't have to take care of what platform you're using, but it allows itself, the apps, to interface directly with the platform services. For example, if you're building on desktop, then it will use the platform services for desktop itself by itself. And for Android and iOS embedded systems, all that Flutter can do that. It is that powerful. Okay, so yes, now comes to the basics of Dart and Flutter. Okay, so in Flutter, there's a saying that everything, literally everything, is a widget. From a single tiniest space you see, to a text, to a whole screen, to a scrollable bar, to an app bar, to anything, to a scrolling position, everything is in Flutter is a widget. So basically, what I mean by that is, let me show you some examples. So here you see two photos, and here it is showing here. It is an app bar. It is a counter button. So basically, when you click on this plus icon, it is a default application. So you can all, if you just create a default Flutter file, you can get all of this. Okay. So when you click on this single button is a widget. This plus icon is a widget. This zero that is being written is a widget, text widget. This whole app bar is a widget. So everything in Flutter is a widget. Okay. Also, one more thing. Flutter follows a tree-like structure. What do I mean by tree-like structure? So basically, there is a parent widget, and below that widget, it has some child, and below that child, it follows some child, and that's how a UI is built in Flutter. Okay, let me explain it a bit more. Suppose you want to show a list. Of course, lists have multiple elements. Okay, so for that list, you want, let's say, a column icon. So column icon is basically like this, 1 2 3, like this, in the vertical manner. So column icon you use, and below that we have several children. You define children, and in that you specify what you want to show. Okay, we'll have an example a bit later, like in the next slide. Okay, just I want to give you a gist. So basically, everything in Flutter is a widget, and it follows a tree-like structure. So everything, it has a base parent root, and after that it follows child by child, and it builds the whole widget. All right. Now, what do I have is an example. Yeah. Now this is an interactive example. So basically, there are three screens right now: my login screen, my catalog, and my cart. So as I said, there is a parent widget, which is my app. Then it goes to login screen. In login screen, this welcome, that text field, that login, and all these buttons, these are all widgets. As I said, everything in Flutter is a widget. And after that, as you click on the login, it just jumps onto my catalog. Now, in the my catalog, this is a list, and this list items, all these list items are widgets. See, now my app, it has three children. One, my login screen. Second, my catalog. And third, my cart. Now I want to show 5 list items in my catalog. So basically, what it does is, you can define 5 child items within the catalog, and therefore you have five, and you define all the 5 child items, and like here it can be list view or a column. These are all widgets. You can, they're pretty basic, you can read the documentations. All right. And of course my app bar for the app bar. And after that, as you click on the go to my cart on this app bar, it goes to the next my cart option. So basically they are pretty basic and they're pretty easy to learn. Next is, these are the beautiful UIs that you can create with Flutter. And trust me, there are several beautiful implementations of Flutter available open source on GitHub. And definitely there are also, you can use Dribble if you want to build UI applications. Use Dribble and try to implement it on your own, and trust me, you will have fun. So let me uh, let me go to the next slide. Yeah, now generally what is being told is that Flutter is only for UI and front end, but that, my friend, is not true. Flutter right now is also being used as backend service as well. I myself used backend service back when I was building my college project in second year. So a friend of mine, he just built the whole backend, uh, fetching data from MongoDB, and all the linking part with the front end. All of that was done through Dart and Flutter itself. So when someone says that, you know what, Dart can only be used for front end and no backend, that's totally not true. And there is one website, you can literally surf it, serverpod.dev. I guess Chavi, you have the link. So it is basically, it is a very modern web server which has been built explicitly and extensively for Flutter and Dart. So basically, you can now build backend as well in Dart, and trust me, the community is great. It is ever growing. If you have any issue or want to contribute, you can just go on the Flutter Discord. You can ask there, and there are various other GDEs. You can approach them on Twitter, literally. And Flutter community is very friendly. All right. So now, having been said about the backend and front end, now let's jump to the next part. Now, you know what? Okay, Saksham, now you are explaining all these things that, you know, Flutter is fast and all this, but why should I even learn app dev, and why should I even choose Flutter? Okay, fine. Let me show you some statistics. So basically, what are the mobile app revenues that are being generated year on year basis? In 2015, it was 152 billion USDs, jumped down to 218, then 285, 365, crossed 600 billion dollars in 2021, and is expected to almost double within 2 to 3 years. So app dev industry is that large. And since you have the power to build applications on multiple platforms, not only mobile applications, but for desktop and website as well, therefore you hold the power to build fast as well as very efficient and for multiple platforms. And that power is provided to you by Flutter. Now you will say that, you know what, React Native is also fast, and React Native is also hybrid mode, but why should I choose Flutter? First of all, Flutter is very growing, very fast developing framework, and also this graph shows you that the number of stars Flutter repository has overcrossed React Native and surpassed Xamarin as well. So basically, Flutter is growing at a very fast pace. And also, if you check on Twitter and on, you know, Discord, there are various I myself joined Flutter and Aditya Thakur server, and there are various other servers out there, and that resources will cover at the end. So basically, Flutter also provides you like very powerful community, is very growing, and therefore you can literally have Flutter like you can literally start Flutter today, and within few weeks it is very easy to learn, and therefore you can build anything. Just get your hands dirty on it, and therefore you learn a lot from Flutter. Okay, so now also, yes, this is one of the surveys conducted by Stack Overflow, not you know, small survey, but conducted by Stack Overflow. And within just 4 years, Flutter is competing with React Native. As you can see, Flutter is being loved like 13.35% and React Native 16.48%. So basically, that day might not be far where you can uh, where it will come above React Native. So again, Flutter is being very popular, and again, it is being used by various companies. All right. So now there are several. Now let's come to Flutter. Basically, how Flutter is, and let's discuss something about Flutter. All right. So first of all, Flutter has these basic 5 traits. First, it is fast. Second, productive. Third, it is very beautiful. It can build very beautiful applications. Fourth, it is open source. And fifth is it is portable. Let's come to that one by one. Fast. What do I mean by fast? So fast is basically it, as I told you, the power of hot reload. You can instantly check your applications within milliseconds. Doesn't matter what you change, how you change, just hot reload, and it is literally that simple. On the snap of fingers, you can literally see the changes on your screen. So it is fast. It has a VM of its own. It is productive. You can develop while you run your applications, and it has several libraries built on that as well. And so it is pretty basic. Third is you can build very beautiful applications. And I think many of you might know that currently Flutter puzzle hack is going on. And what that is basically you have to build a game through animations. It can be a single screen, but it should be slidable. So basically many people, even I with a teammate, we are participating in that. And trust me, like yes, some time ago I didn't know about animations or something, but Flutter has very extensive libraries for animations and for state management. Don't get overwhelmed by these jargons. We'll discuss about it in a little bit. All right. So basically you can build literally very beautiful applications with Flutter, and you can create very beautiful gestures. Like literally they are so much like I am remembering, like, those things that I built, and trust me, it's very beautiful and it's very smooth. So yeah, you can do that. uh, and also it's open source, so it's not like, it's very private. So you can, if you have any issues or if you want to work with Flutter, like, I have worked with Flutter, now I want to contribute more to Flutter, you can literally, they have opened up the engine, you can look in what how Flutter was built, and it's very useful. Like, you can dive into the code. Though, it is still like, I tried a bit back, and I was like, what, this is not like, I got depressed. So but still, like, if you want, you can definitely try. And it's literally, it's like they have open source it all, and you can open issues, you can join their Discord, join their discussions. And like, there are all varieties of people: beginners, advanced, intermediate, like literally everyone. So yeah. And also this last year, if you have attended Google I/O, so there are also various workshops with Flutter. Especially I enjoyed that scrolling experiences with Kate Levitt. It is available on YouTube, of course, so you can just browse it. And like, it's that 40-minute video is just how you can improve scrolling from a very dumb UI to a very beautiful one, like just 40 minutes gap. And like, she covered all the UIs, how you can scroll and create various effects. So you can also check that out. So okay, so now open source, of course we talked about open source. And now next is portable. Yes, as I told you, one code base and many displays: mobile, web, desktop, and even embedded systems. All right. So now, what's the next part? Now let me come to the resources first. And of course, we also discuss one of the roadmaps for beginners that I personally pursued. But there are various new resources as well that came out right now, uh, because of the Flutter hype and all that. And also there are some various, like, very good resources that are being that are like right now out on YouTube as well. Let's discuss about that. Now, first is, I would always prefer to learn Dart before getting your hands into Flutter. Reason being that Dart is Flutter runs on Dart. So basically, you need to know how Dart works to learn how Flutter works. Because in the like after like earlier you will enjoy doing Flutter before knowing Dart, but definitely in the uh, coming time you will definitely have some issues. So I'll prefer you to first of all learn Dart first, And of course, it's free code camp and Flutterly, so you can cover them in like what, 3 to 4 days. They are like approximately 8 hours each. So 4 to even 1 week, that's fine. And you can cover. Chavi, can you pass on these resources to them, please? So these are the Dart files which you can definitely use. And like, you can literally just don't go into Flutter that much initially, but after you understand Dart a little bit, then you can, I will say that you should get into Flutter a little bit and start learning Dart side by side, like, go from beginner to advanced. So I think that will really help you in the long run. Second is Flutter learning resources. So of course, there is Flutter's own YouTube channel, and there are various playlists as well. So as I told you, everything is widget in Flutter. So what you can do is that Flutter every time, it has a playlist known as packages of the week and widget of the week, and these are like what, 30 seconds to 1 minute video, like they are that short, but it gives you, like, this is a widget that I can use probably in my application somewhere. So that is very helpful. So maybe, if you are having a spare time, like if you're eating something and you want to watch YouTube, just go and browse Flutter, and they are like animated. You won't get bored. Some people just talking and talking and talking and not showing anything. So it is that easy, and you can just browse their Flutter YouTube channel. It's very interesting. Also, there is Flutter, the boring development show, in which the Flutter developers themselves, through 1 hour workshops, I think they are 40 to 50, I guess. So in the 1 hour workshop, they gives you extensive use, like how to build Flutter applications. And I think that can be really helpful, though it is really boring. Like, I did not enjoy it personally. But again, if you want, you can go out and check that out if you are a beginner. And also, there is a free code camp, of course, free code camp video out there on Flutter and Dart. But again, first Dart, then Flutter. Now, also, there are some things. Now let's talk. If we are talking about uh, roadmaps, I have some uh, personal things, like, I got to learn them about like past 2 months or so. And like, they are literally helpful because I did not learn it that way, and like, I had to reset myself sometimes. So to save you all from that, there's a certain roadmap that I will share with you all. And of course, it is backed by a GD. Like, I got to know from a GD, and like, it is very helpful. So let me pull that up, please. So basically, what you should do initially is, like, Flutter definitely is very huge, though you don't know, but still it's so let's start by the beginning. All right. So first of all, you should explore Dartpad. Dartpad is basically a web browser. It can open in a web browser, and you can just simply run Dart code on it and see what's going on. So if you want to explore, Dart comes with a light editor as well, but you can also practice it on web browser. Okay. And get yourself familiar with Flutter CLI, command line interface. It's very easy, but it would be better if you know it as a beginner. And of course, git is very useful. If you know the basic commands, that's fine, and it will be helpful. Now, coming to the Dart, then there are one or two things that I would like to share. First of all, Dart overview and language store. So I think dart.dev is the website. You can check that out, and there are several. When you get yourself familiar with the Dart code, like by watching these playlists or any other playlists on YouTube that is beginner friendly, you can basically go to the, like, they have documentations of Dart literally, and it is very extensive. You can, and it is in very easy language as well, so you can check that out. And so Dart overview and language store of Dart, it is very useful. And after you, like, after you get to know Dart a little bit, then you can also see effective Dart. It's a website on Dart website as well, I guess. Chavi, I have one website with effective Dart as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so effective Dart is also one thing. Check that out. And coding style, yes, like, this will help you a lot, because initially I used to mess up the codes, and like, and then when I wanted to go back, I didn't know what to do exactly. So what, it would be very helpful if you watch coding styles in Flutter Gallery. Flutter Gallery again is a gallery in which they have both UI as well as code samples on how to write clean code. So it would be really useful if you know how to write clean code, like initially on the initial stage. So like, as you go from beginner to advanced, like it become you are habitual to writing clean code, and it will be very helpful since many organizations prefer clean code. So it will be helpful for you, as well as you can contribute to them easily. So again, and again, one more thing is there, linters. These are not in the slides, so just if you want to note it down, you can note it down. Linters, and of course, like if you don't also note it down, then it will come up in one way or the other when you see these playlists. So again, your choice. So linters is one such thing. So basically linters is how you want your basically your personalized rules for writing a Flutter code. Suppose I don't want any print statement in my Flutter code, then I can literally add a linter that it has a guide on it, and you can literally say that, just avoid. So every time you write a print statement, it will literally show an error that no, it's not allowed. So you can especially look into that. So it's now as we have covered the beginners maps, now again material and that widget of the week and package of the week from the Flutter YouTube page, that is very helpful. And also like these new things like human interface guidelines. So basically what it is like how humans act on these Android devices and iOS devices. It is for Google and Apple both. It is a fun read. If you want, you can read it, and yeah, it will help you a lot. And again, since you are beginning, it will be like there, since Flutter is mainly used for UI purposes, so you can literally also study design principles, because there are two design principles generally. Don't keep it simple, and don't repeat yourself. So basically you don't want any Flutter code to repeat itself. It will be redundant. You should modularize the code and reuse it, and it is a tech used for clean coding. And also keep the design simple, and of course all code also simple. And study design principles. It will be just YouTube it, like search it, like design principles for effective coding, or for effective UI, for interactive UI, and you will get like a lot of articles on that. Now again, design principles, now there are two books as well. First is Solid, which is clean code book by Uncle Bob. Okay. Again, these are all like, if you want you can, if you don't want, then it's also fine, you'll learn. So Solid. And second is Core Design Principle. It is written by gang of four. So basically you can also do that, like you can also give it a read, give it a go. Now there are certain useful things that is needed, especially when you are working on Flutter, like you want to do networking. So networking sockets, how storage is done locally, and getting to know architecture and state management. Let me come to that one by one. So basically networking is basically how you can call an API within a Flutter application. Sockets is basically, if you want sockets.io, many of you are familiar. Many those who are don't, it's basically used for chat messaging. So sockets, storage, how like, as you know, there are several caches that you see on your applications. So how is that done? You can also cache an image. So all that you can play around with it in your own code, and trust me, you will get confidence with the time. So these are some interesting things, but again, they are important. And secondly, yes, storage, as I told you, uh, keychain. There are certain databases as well: Keychain, Hive, Firebase, and SQLite. So these four databases also, and I guess MongoDB or not, I don't know. But MongoDB is a package or not, I'm not sure. But again, SQLite, Hive, and Firebase, these are all very powerful. So you can integrate them into your Flutter applications and play around with them. Now coming to like state management and architecture. So these are very heavy terms that I'm using, but basically state management is nothing but how your code should react when you have let's say different states. Suppose when I click on a button, login button, then what should it show if the password is wrong? So basically a pop-up comes with error, the password is wrong, but what if it is correct? Then it should redirect you to the next screen. So basically that is state management, to handle different states, that if an error comes, then use then show this pop-up, otherwise uh, redirect the user to the next screen. So that is state management. They are very state management. Though I what I went through is, first I learned provider. Provider is very easy state management, and like you actually get what state management is. And after that, right now I'm working with block. Block is also very business logic, basically. So what so basically state management is used when you want to separate your business logic from the code. So basically you don't want to merge, as I said that when I didn't know state management that much, so I messed up code very times, and right, and to rectify the logic I messed up my UI. So to save yourself from that, I would prefer that you learn some state managements and integrate. Of course, it's like you will get it in the first time. Of course, you'll mess up, but again, it will be very helpful for you. So again, state management. There is provider, block, and river pod is also one, and getx. All right. So these are the state managements, which and like there are various resources. I think in the Dart, in the Flutter course, this Vendad as well, he also used some, of course he'll explain some state management, and it is a full course. So like if you follow it, I think it will be great, and you'll get literally idea about everything through the courses. Again, now state management is done. Now architecture. So basically what happens is, when you are building very small applications, then architecture is not that much useful, because it is an overkill. Because you are taking headache too much for just a small project. But when you build very large and complex apps, then literally state management architecture, sorry, architectures are very useful. Okay, so what architecture does is, like for example, I learned DDD architecture, domain driven development, and like it shows like you have to separate every layer. And trust me, like after, like it's just an initial you will get, what I have to write this much, and there's so much separation. But in the future, if you are building a very big application, it will be very helpful. Right now in Collaction we are using DDD architecture itself. So right now what DDD architecture consists of is, like, it's first of all presentation, then it's block, business logic, basically business logic layer, then it's domain layer, then it's validators, and then it's third party APIs, or whatever you call from the database. Now let me come to that one by one. So presentation, as you know, just what should be shown in the screen. It should not consider even a single logic. So all the screen code is written into this layer. Business logic, and of course we are using block state management. So business logic is that, what it does is, it contains all the logics. So basically, suppose if I tap a button on the screen, then it will then presentation layer triggers an event, sorry, to business logic layer, and right, that all things happen through the logic, and it returns a state to presentation, that this is the final output. Now presentation layer will react according to that state. So presentation, there is no logic in presentation layer. The presentation layer only triggers the event and get the state, and shows the output accordingly. So business logic is there. Now domain layer is very important layer. Though like you might think, like you will probably be very uh, overwhelmed, but like these are, if it's okay if you don't understand it at once, but it will be, like it's a very overview what I'm giving. So yeah, it will be helpful, I guess. So domain layer is basically where you define all your validators, like email should at least have an @ sign, password should have at least a special article, a special symbol, and a number. So basically what happens is, like suppose if I click on a button, login, so it sends the logic to business logic layer, and business logic indeed is connected to domain layer, and domain layer said that no, it doesn't have a special character, send an error. So basically business logic layer will send an error to the presentation layer. So like this is how the layering is done. And after that, there is what we say, database or API repositories. So if you are fetching data from APIs or databases, third party APIs, then you can literally like that layer is basically for that, for third party APIs. And trust me, it's that easy that initially you will like, what, why do I need this? Like, why do I need a separate layer for third party libraries? But suppose if you are on Firebase today and you want to deploy directly, like to your own server, then literally if you don't have this layer, then it will be like, it will be a massive headache if you have a very big code and you want to literally deploy your backend to the other any other platform. So it is very useful if you use layering in big applications. Of course, if there is single screen or two screen, then no need to bother yourself with such a big architecture, of course. But again, I would prefer you to just learn these like, of course, afterwards, but after you learn state management, so it will be very helpful. And for these, there is one YouTube channel known as Resocoder, RESOCODER. I think it will be in the next slide. So it will be very helpful. Like, he has like, he is very consistent with the Flutter stuff. So, and he builds literally very extensive, very detailed YouTube videos and playlists on such things. So yeah, it's a very interesting YouTube channel. So that, and again, there are some other things as well. Let me, yeah, also one or two things left. um, First is tests. Tests is very useful. Like, I am learning tests now, but it's very easy. It's literally very easy. You can just open up the documentations in the uh, Flutter documentation and Flutter.dev basically, and literally they have the documentation for each and everything. So there are three types of tests: unit tests, uh, widget tests, and integration tests. Which unit test is basically when you want to test a function, simple function. Widget test, as you say that this widget should be here, so is it here or something. So it is for widget testing. And integration testing is when you are basically integrating something, like for example third party, and you want to test that, the whole integration, then this test is used. So again, it is a bit advanced, but again, if you want to look into it, you can take a look. Now I guess, yeah, now there are some certain yeah now there are some certain this is the last bit of this roadmap. So as I said, that there can be state managements, different state managements used. So you can just note it down. It's a simple recommendation that if you have one screen or 1 to 4 screens, like less than 4 screens, then you can use either provider, mobex, qubit, or set state is a simple inbuilt state management. So these four are for when you are building short apps like single screen, double screen. Till if your whole app contains just 3 screens, then you can use these provider, mobex, qubit, and set state. If you have 4 screens, 4 to 9 screens, basically less than 10 screens, then you can use redux. Redux is also state management. So, and all of this is available, don't no need to worry about. You can just, it's just literally a single YouTube search away. Or if you want to read, if you're a reading person, then you can literally go to flutter.dev and search redux. They have a whole documentation out there, so you can do that as well. And if you have 10 plus screens, like as I said, that if you have big projects, then block is very useful because it's very clean and it's very separated. So again, block is literally very useful. So you can learn block for that, and you can use block for if you have very big applications. So basically that is one thing that I'll say. So again, yes, so I think that's all, like for the architecture and for the roadmap part. If you have any doubts, of course, we'll take a bit, but let me complete the whole presentation first. And these are the some YouTube channels that are very helpful for beginners, because many of them explained it very easily for the beginners. So like Rizzo Coder, as I told you, he is very, like, I learned DDD, domain driven development, from Rizzo Coder itself. Phil Stacks, Alexander Lushenko, he's a GD, Google developer expert in Flutter and Dart. So basically he's also a very nice person, and he has also made some videos on testing, so you can check that out. They're very short, like 5 to 7 minutes videos. so you can check that out pretty easily. You can just open it in your free time. Philip Harek, he left Google, but he was in the Flutter team in Google when he was there. So he also makes very intuitive and very good Flutter videos. So you can definitely look into it. Look into it. Flutterly also yes, Flutterly, as in the previous slide also I mentioned, he has a complete Dart code. Dart course. So it is a 8-hour long course, so you can take it, and it's pretty like he's very chill person, and he explains things very slowly and very gradually, so you'll enjoy it. So yes, I guess so these all are the YouTube channels I think you should check out for. Chavi, just copy these to the
Yeah,
chat.
sure.
So these are the YouTube channels, and yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all, I guess. If you have any doubts, just shoot. Want to know anything? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really amazing. I really liked it because we had a really great discussion on the Flutter and also how we can just get started with it and how useful it is, and to be honest, how beautiful it is. Because when we just make the videos you used were really awesome, and I'm also looking forward to just get started with Flutter as soon as possible. And also, like, I'm really fond of the videos that I have found on YouTube as well. Like it's really very easy, I guess, and
Yeah.
it's for example, I'm a beginner in coding, so I can just get started with my journey in Flutter. It's not something that I need to understand the whole Java, C++ or something stuff. So it's really amazing and easy to use. Thank you so much for that.
Personally, I don't like C++, so yeah, I can relate to that. So
Exactly, like it's
yeah, so
difficult for
yeah,
people
like
who
it's
don't like this. Yeah.
yeah, it's very like it's pretty easy, and like if you check out some, if any of the enthusiasts just check out some YouTube videos for beginners for Dart and for Flutter, like there's a ton available, and like you can choose whatever you want, and yeah, it's
Oh.
very easy.
That's there was a question in the chat box once asked between the webinar that is something for hackers. Like when it comes to Flutter, is there anything like they
No,
can
no,
just
no.
find out something like this? Any sort of testing they can find?
No, I don't think so that there's anything for hackers.
Okay.
But what like no, you cannot hack anything in this. But what
Yeah.
there are tests available, of course. Like if you
Yeah,
when
basically they want to
breaches or
understand, like
anything.
for example, on websites also they can just start the penetration testing and they can get some sort of bounty and also get their hands on, like if there's a like ethical hacker,
No,
then
there is
only I'm
no,
saying.
no, no. There is
So
no.
like, yeah,
Yeah, completely. Sorry.
yeah. So is there anything in when it comes to Flutter, like penetration testing, something like that?
No, there is no such penetration testing, but like as I told you, like there are three types of tests. So basically, what these tests does is like a hacker as well. Like take it like as a hacker or not, but uh, these tests take that you are like the computer is the human and it's operating on your code. And
Yeah,
suppose uh, if as I told you that suppose what if I want the password to have a special character or not. So what you can like this that computer will test that whether a special character is there or not, and it if the test doesn't pass, it will show you the error. But no, not as
yeah.
such penetration testing or very rigorous testing. But yeah, this is basically what is meant by testing. Yeah.
Yeah, it means like on a low scale we can say that they can get their hands on, but not on some large scale. They can just start. Yeah, that's pretty good. And also, there's always one thing that comes in my mind that what are the beginner friendly projects they can get started with? Like when it comes to website, I always have this to do list in my mind. So, what are the like 4 or 5 projects you started your journey with, or you can just refer to anyone?
Yeah, that's very interesting question because yeah. So I started with, I guess, to-do list. Oh, sorry, no, not to-do list, but a simple interest calculator. It was a single
Okay.
screen calculator, and what basically you do is you enter the principal amount, you enter the time, you enter the rate of interest,
Yeah.
and just click on a calculate and reset. If you click on calculate, it shows a text that this is total your income, and reset button, which which just
Hmm.
smashes the whole thing. And it was like, I found it very intuitive, and I was very happy at that point of time that oh my god, what I have built. And now I see that, oh my god, what I have built. So there are
Can
these are two
feel
different
those two
expressions.
emotions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are two different expressions, but yeah, like, again, if you have the power to build any application, then of course it's very new, and you feel very powerful that you can build anything. Like right now today, if I know Flutter, then if any person says that, what, I want to build an app for this, then always it comes to my mind, oh my god, how can this be done? Like, I don't even, I'm not on computer, but I have my imagination that maybe I can use this thing, maybe I can use this architecture, this UI, this effect, this animation, and all that. So basically, it just boosts your imagination like really well. And second thing, like, simple interest is done, and after that, I built a to-do list. Then of course I took a course from Coursera. It was, I think, from Maximilian, and it was a pretty big course. Like, I'm a tutorial guy. Like, I cannot read articles that much, like at least not 2 years
Mhm.
from now. Right now,
Yeah.
it's a different thing. But yeah, that at that point of time, I took that course, and it was like 30 plus hours of course, but it was very extensive. Yeah, I covered it in like 4 months or so. But again, after the 4 months, I felt very powerful. And it was a coincidence that after I finished that course, or I was about to finish that course, so there was a college project that we need to build. It was a college information system, department information system. So basically, your whatever you build, like, it's not like you have to build an app or website,
Mhm.
but whatever you build, you have to just show college, like, how many students are there in this branch, what is this
The
department.
basic database, right?
Yes, this,
Yeah.
that basic data, exactly. So I was like, fine, then, like, like, we have like, I have seen a lot of tutorial. Now let's implement something on my own.
Yeah.
So, like, we were a friend of three, like, group of 3 person, and we built one handle the backend, because I'm not that much of a backend guy. And,
Yeah.
like, to be honest, this is a true story. And it is like, that person didn't do Dart, like, what, a week ago, and within 2 days he learned and implemented the whole backend on it. And I was like, okay, fine, maybe I
This is
should.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it's so easy. So yeah, one person looked on the linking part, and I looked on the UI part. And like that,
Mhm.
and that was the first project when I implemented authentication, of course, with the help of other two. And like it, and like, when you build something on your own, then you get the real confidence. Like,
Exactly.
it doesn't matter how many tutorials you see, or how many, like, before that project, I built like 4 apps through the course. But again, the main power I felt that I can do this thing is after this project. That like, I
Exactly.
built something on my own, figured all the things out. If I didn't know this, I googled it, I read it myself, I took help from some other person, but I learned it myself without without just following a a
Exactly.
common path. All right. So after that, I become addicted to Flutter, that like, I know that this is my thing. So after that, I did one internship, and in that internship, like, Uber or Ola apps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that application as well, I worked with, they're not particularly like, cabs kind of app, but again, I worked with Google Maps. I implemented a very cool feature that if you zoom in, then it pinpoints some locations, which was, again, I cannot
Yeah. I
disclose.
got an
Yeah. So,
idea.
but again, it can pinpoint some, and if you zoom out, then it will show more. It will increase the range. And I implemented it, and I was like, I mean, I did it. I like, it was very cool, and like, I can see it through my, like, like, what I have built. Like, it was really amazing. It was a great feeling.
It's
So yeah,
basically more like a passion, and the
yeah,
like when you just start something coding and you just love it, you just deep dive in it and just start with it. That's really pretty cool.
yeah, exactly. So I think, so again, after that, I continued, and I was looking for some open source projects then Collaction, like there was a Reddit, and
Yeah.
I just texted that that if you are looking for open source contributors, then I'm in. And like it turned out that it was a like that I didn't know architecture like at all before this, but they are so friendly that they provided me with resources and all that you can look into it. And after that, like within 3 to 4 months, I was good to go with the Collaction as well. Not 3 to 4 months, but again 1 to 2 months, because again examinations and
So
all that.
like you learn every like you learn the architecture and the other parts with your internship, and also it was quite
Yeah,
relaxing for you, and also you have that motivation in yourself that yeah, like I have to build something, and there's a thing that I am working under someone, so it was also the one thing that comes. And I also like that part that you mentioned that you tried on some different socials to find out the opportunities. Like what students really does is they just go to LinkedIn and just find the things that come up in the job section, and they just don't do the deep dive research. So I really like it that you tried on other socials, like also Reddit. Like many of the students don't even have an idea that even Reddit, like you can get the opportunity on Reddit as well. So it's something that is quite new to me as well, that you can just find your jobs on Reddit. So that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Like yeah, I mean, it was new to me as well. Like I didn't know, like say someone can post for
Yeah.
I need some Flutter developers on Reddit. So again, it was pretty cool. And again, like yes, and one thing that you mentioned, that yes, uh, when you learn on your own, then you learn at your own pace. But when you learn through an internship, like you have some time foundation. Like if some senior or a boy says that what, I want this to be implemented like within a week or so, then you have to learn within that time frame. And like I think either it increases your efficiency, like it will boost it, or it will you'll collapse. So basically
Yeah.
for me it was a former one, that it helped me, because I did not work with maps that much. But when, like, of course, in my first internship, the sir and all those were very very helpful. And like it like it just gave me some confidence that I can continue with this. And with this Collaction, I learned the whole architecture. And right now, like at ether, to be honest, I didn't know a single word of WebSockets till what, January. Okay, January mid. But he
And
said
now
that
you have
what,
everything in your
yeah,
hand.
like and he said that what, I want this implemented like within 3 to 4 days. I said fine, I'll try. But if don't, then I cannot do anything. And fortunately, I just found a resource and all that. And I just and it worked out somehow. And I was like, I like literally in 3 days I implemented a chat feature, chat messaging via WebSockets, whose name I didn't hear, like before. Like I didn't know what WebSockets was like a week ago. And like I implemented the whole
Yeah,
feature in an application.
I can feel that, because when you have that something like when you have that fire in yourself that okay, now this is my domain, I'll be devoting my whole career, my whole life and time and everything in this thing. So we just put our more efforts, and like when everything is so clear to us, 3 days is not a like big time, like a small time for us. 3 days is like हो जाएगा. So we have that mindset in ourselves. So that's really true. I can totally relate to it.
Yeah. I think there's one question. How
Yeah,
does
yeah.
Flutter achieve platform
So how
independence?
does Flutter achieve platform independence? And is there any difference in the Flutter code for Android, iOS, on other OS? Like for example, if you are working on, so do you have to make some different code for different platforms, something like that?
Yeah. So basically, what like it's written also in Flutter contributing, I think some README in Flutter GitHub.
Mhm.
So they mentioned there that what Flutter does is that it has Dart. Now in the like in the low level code, what they do is that they first test a feature on Android, then they test it on iOS, that that it should be fully compatible with that platform. So it should not like there is no hurry to release that feature immediately. All right, they test it rigorously on like whether it is compatible with iOS or Android, and then for other platforms as well, and then they release it. So basically, in the low level code, they're like it has some compatibility with other platforms, just that you're not writing that code yourself. Second thing is
Mhm.
that, is there any difference between in the Flutter code for Android and iOS? There are very minor things that is sorry, there are very minor things that you need to do for Android and iOS. Like if you are building, suppose if you're building an Android application by Kotlin and with Swift you have to build for iOS, and with Kotlin you have to build for Android. So in this thing, like if you are going with this logic, with this approach, then you have to write the application logic 2 times, first in Kotlin, then in Swift. But in Flutter, you write the logic only once, and the UI changes. Like there are certain widgets, as I told you, everything is widgets. So in certain widgets that you say, like if you want to suppose say that the plus icon should appear on the top left corner in iOS, but in the top right corner in Android. So basically, what there is an application that there's a how do I say this? There is a method known as platform dot is platform or some platform dot is Android, which is basically is the platform on which the Flutter on which the app is running is Android. If yes, then you can implement a certain UI, and if it is not, then you can implement the other UI. So basically, it's like the logic you have to write is only once. But again, if you want to do some changes on different platforms regarding the UI, then and of course regarding the logic as well, you can do that. But again, like why would you want to do that? So yeah, I mean, with the UI, yes, you can do different things on different platforms.
It basically makes it really easy for the developer as well to just.
Yes, exactly. Basically, you don't have to write logic again and again. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that was true. So, I like if there is any question, you can just put it in the chat box, or you can just directly contact with Saksham, as he is like you can just easily DM him, or you can reach out to him on the different platform. I'll just share his socials with you. You can just reach out to him. And thank you so much for everyone for joining in. And it was really a great session indeed, and I really loved it. And also, you can just join in the AngelHack Discord server. I have put it the links in the chat box, and also you can register to the AngelHack Campus Hub. You can also register as a AngelHack Campus Hub member of the Amity University Noida, and I'm leading that. So thank you so much for everyone coming in. It was a great session indeed. Thank you so much, Saksham, for being a really great speaker. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.